Hey guys, what is going on? This is your old pal CHH. So, we had a fun time, at least I had a fun time, reviewing the new Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X 4K from Arrow. Now what I'd like to do is, I think there's a lot of you that I would see comments talk about, like, I want to pick that up, but I might wait till it gets a little bit cheaper. And that's totally fine. You're the consumer. Your job is to do what's best for you and your wallet at all times. I never want my videos to come across as videos just trying to convince you to buy something. I want to give you the facts. Of course, I'm going to give my opinion, and sometimes if I love the movie, I get a little carried away. This is Friday the 13th, and I understand that. But with that being said, I want to kind of like go back and talk about these and some detail and give you my almost give you my ranking of them, tell you which one I think is the most bang for your buck, which one looks the best, which one offers the most, and of course, you know, we'll talk about the movies briefly. Let's shuffle them up, and I'll tell you which one we'll go with first. All right, let's see. First one up, guys, is... Oh, how fitting, the one that came out first, the remake. This was a shock. When we had the announcement of this come out on the internet, nobody was as shocked as me. Well, you probably were just as shocked as me, but... My point is, this was a big deal. I mean, when we found out that the remake was coming out from Arrow, we almost were kind of like, no, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't seem right. Why is Arrow doing that? It doesn't make any sense. But they did it. And first thing I want to do is look at that artwork. I love that. I think that's so good. I love the kind of teal. And then you've got the slit down the middle where it's kind of about the, the old newspaper. So, the first thing I remember about this 4K is watching the movie itself, and I remember vividly when I reviewed this, one of the things I did was I started watching this in the broad daylight, because this movie is very much a dark movie, especially the beginning. The beginning is really dark. I remember that pretty vividly, and I wanted to put this 4K up against the most crucial of tests, so I watched this in bright daylight with the windows open where the light is just blasting in the room. And I remember being very impressed with this. The level of detail and definition in the openings actually looks good, and it's holding up very well against, the element, so to speak. And one of the things I want to clarify now, I was wrong about this. I thought that the movie was actually shot digitally, because by 2009, I guess I just wasn't aware that, film was still a thing that was being used. But no, the film was shot on film. It was not shot digitally. I think it might have been edited digitally. But no, the movie was shot on film. But anyway, the thing that was so impressive about this is the stuff you're going to notice. Like down in those bunkers where Jason's holding victims, the girl, like I told people, pause the movie, look at the movie, and you'll see stuff that you probably never noticed before. So I remember the 4K being impressive, and I remember it being better than the Blu-rays that had come out. Another thing that was important about this is they actually did something that, again, could seem kind of silly to people, but this actually has the killer cut, and it also has the theatrical cut. I love that. That's history. I understand that the killer cut basically became the way people watch this movie on physical media. I think it came out uncut. I don't even know if it had the theatrical cut available when you could buy it, but I don't know. The theatrical cut's not bad, but the killer cut's the way to go if you're gonna watch it. Another thing I'll say is the movie itself. I like the remake. I think the remake is a good Friday the 13th film. I think the complaints with that one are just, the opening's so good, then the other part of the movie after that kind of is a little lackluster. To that I say, I think they made a Friday the 13th film. I think that's just what they did. Back then, those kind of characters and those kind of personas weren't cliche. By 2009, they probably were. So, I don't know. I think, sure, there's always a better movie to be had, but I don't think that the remake is that bad. No, the thing that's great about this is the special features that were on here. One of the things that were really great is the interviews with the director, Marcus Nispel. There has always been this notion I would hear about all over the internet. Sometimes I would read about it in articles that Marcus claimed that Marcus was checked out of the movie. Now, one of the things that I did not know about until I learned about in this, and I won't go into too much detail because as weird as it sounds, I don't want to spoil the special features, but one of the things about this that I found very impressive was the fact that we learned that Marcus was up against the gun with this movie more than anything. Not that he was necessarily checked out. He was filming the opening sequence, and a week after shooting, a girl dropped out. She had to do a nude scene or a topless scene, and, you know, she didn't want to do it. And so he lost a full week's worth of work. Now, in a studio film, a week is how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that were being lost at that point. So he was up against the gun with this movie. He was just shoot and go after that. So that was the big thing I learned, not so much that he was checked out. And I like him. I like Marcus. I think he's a good director. Overall, I remember giving this one 2 big thumbs up. I don't really have any complaints about this one. The fact that there were some new features on here was fantastic. There was a lot of it. There was even Daniel Pearl, the cinematographer, who did interviews. So this is a really good release. I really like this one, and the artwork is great. We're going to judge the artwork. We're going to judge the quality of the 4K and the special features and just the overall presentation. All right, so we're going to shuffle these again. I have no idea which one I'm grabbing. Oh, here we go. The next up is Jason Goes to Hell. Man, I think out of the 3, the one that I enjoyed watching the 4K for the most was actually this one. And I know that sounds weird, but for me, Jason Goes to Hell is the last Friday the 13th movie to feel truly vintage. I don't know if you guys will agree with that, but you know, there's something about that movie, the settings, the scenery, the diner, everything about it just feels so vintage. I really feel like I'm transported back in time when I watch it. In terms of the 4K, on that one, that was the first one we're talking about today where we're not going from just like a 1080p Blu-ray to a 4K. We're going from a higher upscaled scan of Jason Goes to Hell, with that coming from a 2K Interpositive, I believe. Now, if you remember when the Scream Factory came out, there was some problems with that. They had to do a reissue of the disc because there was some missing, you know, gore sequences in that. I believe it was the tibia, whatever the bone is of the arm that's supposed to pop out. It didn't pop out, but they fixed that. And once that was fixed, it was a great Blu-ray, quite frankly. Now, the thing about that one that I talked about in the review is there are definitely moments throughout the film that you significantly, in my opinion, saw some improvements. One of those scenes that was super impressive was the melting scene. That one looked great on 4K, as well as the diner scene. I don't know what it was about the diner scene, but the diner scene absolutely slayed. Is that what the kids are saying? It was fire. It was giving upgrade, if you will. But it was a good 4K. It's definitely, in my opinion, the best way to watch the film. But you're not going to see, in my opinion, as big as a jump overall from that to the previous release from Scream Factory. But is it the best way to watch the film? I think so. Now, some things I liked about this were, of course, the artwork is good. They kind of stuck with the same artist, but there's always more to this when you look at it than meets the eye. Like when I look at this, I noticed, like, yeah, there's the demon slug in the Jason hockey mask. Now, it's funny because I remember somebody saying, Christian, why did they put the Jason X mask on the cover of the Jason Goes to Hell 4K? And I was like, no. I think what they're doing is trying to replicate the poster. And they were like, why would they do that? I said, well, what are they supposed to put on the other side? They gotta, you know, they're doing the same art style, and they gotta, they gotta coincide with that. So they had to come up with something. Maybe they could have put Campbell, the news guy, interviewing here, or they could have done the coroner, which would have been funny. Or they could have done the slug over here. But, that's what they went with. And I think they did the right thing because you get to see that demon slug in there. This one was a good release. There were some new features on this, believe it or not. It was Faces of Death, a new interview with Robert Kurtzman. That was great because Kurtzman talked all about the special effects on this, talked all about the, the new, not the new, but like all the effects that were going to get cut and stuff like that. They showed the makeup and how they did all that stuff. It was a great interview. What else was on there? Julie Michaels was good. And then Harry Manfredini talked about this, and he basically was talking about how, like, the score for this movie is basically like being on crack, especially in the beginning because it's so rambunctious and crazy, and it's a good release. I think the interviews are more impactful and you learn more on this one, but this was a better release than I anticipated it being. In terms of the 4K, I think I remember giving it a really high score. And, you know, there's good features on this one. This one, I think I still feel comfortable that there's enough meat on the bone with this. If just an upgrade in picture quality, marginally or not, is enough for you, there's enough meat on the bone for you to upgrade it. Besides that, so yeah, I like this release. It was a good release, and that's that. Again, with this one, what they did that I find important and I'm happy about is the fact that they give you theatrical cut and the unrated cut. Now, I know most people are going to just want to watch the unrated cut, but it's preserving history. The movie was initially released to the public with that theatrical cut, not the unrated cut, which I know home video-wise was a different ballgame, but I find that important. I find that good when we still have that to go with. And last, but certainly not least, guys, we're talking about Jason X. This one was probably the last video that came out from me, if not yesterday, the day before. I'm probably going to drop this fairly soon after the reviews. This one was a good release still, but definitely, in my opinion, the least jump in picture quality from all three. I think, like I said in my review, and this may not even be the right way to describe this, something about Jason X, it's almost the whole film has this softer focus to it, to where the movie just doesn't have that super sharpness to it. Now, the HDR, I definitely think boosted the colors and stuff, and at the end of the day, this is the best way to watch this film picture quality-wise, but in terms of a jump and noticeability, this is the least of the three, which I guess I was kind of anticipating that. I can't say I was happy or sad either way. I think it just is what it is. Now, this one, there's only one cut of the film available, so you just get, you know, the theatrical cut. I don't know what hit the cutting room floor on Jason X, quite frankly. I don't know how much did or what didn't. But the thing about this that I still give credit for is they did try to do some new features. Now, the other thing about this is this release has the most features pound for pound in terms of length because there are documentaries about Jason X on here, but they were done for the Scream Factory release. So somebody that already has the Scream Factory release, that could be something you could look at and say, oh, well, I've already got that, so blah, blah, blah. Maybe I shouldn't upgrade this. The one feature that is on here that's new is they did get Mr. Harry Manfredini, the composer, to talk about the score. But what I like about that interview is he definitely went out of his way to say that he loves Jason X and he had the most fun, it sounded like, scoring Jason X. But other than that, in terms of new stuff, most of it was all archival from the Scream Factory release on down. So in terms of the new things they procured for this, that's the only thing. So let's kind of go over some things. Like, I want to rank these based on cover art, then the 4Ks, and like the picture quality, with including like really the jumps and just the visual aspect of them, and then which one I think is the most bang for your buck. So we'll rank those three ways and see how we kind of come out. So I went back and forth on this. Best artwork, I'm going to rank them like this. Number 1 is Jason X. I think they just absolutely slaughtered that one. Number 2, I think, is going to be the Remake, which is a close number 2. A very close number 2. And number 3 is going to be Jason Goes to Hell. I like this one a lot, but I think it looks the least like the actual films. And I know they had to kind of improvise on this, but that would be that way. Now, in terms of features, I'm going to do this based off of the stuff that Arrow did. I'm going to exclude Scream Factory stuff because that's stuff they licensed. That's not stuff that they did. And it's not a disparagement to Arrow for some of the ones that they did less for. It's just a matter of fact. I think the one that's the most impactful is definitely this one. This would be number 1 for features because of the new interviews where I think you really learn some new stuff about the remake that kind of dispel some of the notions about the remake, in my opinion. Then, of course, would definitely be Jason Goes to Hell. And Jason X would come in last, although in the same breath, like I said, with the Scream Factory stuff, you're going to get the most time out of that. And those documentaries are fantastic. Now, in terms of the 4Ks, in my opinion, this is how I would rank that. Number 1 would be the Remake. I think this is the one with the coolest look. I mean, I really do. I loved it. Number 2 would then be Jason Goes to Hell, which I loved very much. And number 3, still the best way to watch the film, but in terms of the jump, you know, it is what it is. I find it to be Jason X. So with all that being said, how would I rank these releases? I would actually rank them in the way I just did. Number 1, I think the best release so far is the remake. Then it would be Jason Goes to Hell, and then Jason X. In terms of how I would recommend them, if somebody was saying, hey Christian, I want to pick up one of those, which one do you think would be the best one to get in terms of like getting the most out of your dollar? That's my opinion. I think the remake is the one you get the most out of your dollar for. I think, you know, the art is great on it, but I also think the 4K looks great. And then I think the features are the most impactful with the new interviews with the director and stuff like that. The one, like, would I say not to get any of them? I don't think I would. I think if you're getting this, odds are you already own a lot of releases of this, and you're getting this because you're a fan. But if you're going to prioritize your pickups for these are the first 2 I would grab, with the remake being the number 1, and then going to Jason Goes to Hell, and then Jason X. So, and all 3 of them come with the posters and stuff like that. They all got the same additives. But yeah, that's how I would rank them. Let me do it like this, from left to right. That's how I would rank them. Friday remake, then Jason Goes to Hell, then Jason X. So, I don't know. Hopefully this kind of is helpful to you guys. I think a lot of you are already going to buy these already. But I know that there's a lot of people that have hit me up that said, I'm waiting for the prices to kind of go down on these to see what's what, wait for some reviews. So that's why I wanted to do a recap. That way you ain't got to go back and watch my review for these, for the remake if you wanted, because I went long on that one. I was so excited. So that's that, guys. Hopefully this video is helpful. If not, I understand, but I thought it might be helpful to kind of just breeze through these all together and like a kind of, you know, a follow-up, just looking back at these. And plus, while they're all available right now, who knows how long the remake will be available? Hopefully for a while, but you never know. So there you have it, guys. The remake number 1, Jason Goes to Hell number 2, and Jason X is what I would call number 3. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. I'll do my best to answer them. This is your old pal CHH. God bless you guys. Take care, and I'll see y'all next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.